And one of the things that I want everybody to leave this call thinking differently about is that your land isn't just a wall of green. Like when you look at your forest, it's it's actually a very rich asset that you have, and it's a multifaceted asset that you have, right? The forest is not valuable for just the timber that you can take off the land. You know, it's also got wildlife. It also has soil. You have the potential to capture some of the inbound solar radiation, you know, with solar panels and things like that. Or, you know, the location of your land may be valuable because of its proximity to data center transmission lines or, whatever, right? There's like a lot of aspects about your land other than just wall of green and being able to unpack those and understand how the decisions you make affect each of these assets in your natural capital portfolio. That's the foundation of being a smart land manager or a smart natural capitalist, right? And this is, I think, one of the big transitions we're going through as a civilization right now is the increased willingness to pay for some of these new types of natural capital on your property. I mean, timber has been around for a long time, like cut down a tree, put it on a log truck, send it to a mill. That's actually a pretty mature industry. But doing things like hunting leases to be able to monetize some of the wildlife habitat, or doing carbon credits to be able to monetize the carbon storage on your property, or the carbon in the soil, or taking advantage of government cost share programs that'll pay you to for things that improve biodiversity outcomes. There's so many options out there for smart natural capitalists to take advantage of that can really change the cash flow profile of your property. And so let's get into it because you may have a natural capital portfolio, and that may be a new concept, but everybody knows you got a bank account, right? And that's what your property taxes are coming out of. That's what all your maintenance expenses are coming out of. That's where the timber revenue is coming in, right? But any decision that you make on your property often has an implication in your bank account and in your natural capital account. And there's trade-offs between these things, right? Like when you harvest timber, you're taking, the trees out of your natural capital portfolio, and, so your natural capital goes down, but your bank account goes up. Or similarly, right? Like if you plant trees, for example, you might pay the cost to plant those trees, so it comes out of your bank account, but you're making an investment in your natural capital portfolio. And there's trade-offs between even within your natural capital portfolio, right? Between like how much timber am I going to get versus like what does that do to my turkey habitat? Because I love hunting turkey out in the woods with my grandkids, right? And so this is a very complex asset that you own as a landowner, or that you're helping advise as a forester or other land advisor. And at NCX, what we want to do is give people the tools to make intelligent decisions and make about the trade-offs here and become confident managers of their natural capital portfolios while also making sure the cash flows in the black rather than in the red, because that makes everything else much easier. But just like you have a financial plan and thoughts about, inheritance and generational transfer and all that, you should really have a similar style approach for your natural capital portfolio. And, all that needs to come together in a plan that triangulates what's your land, what are the possibilities on your land, what your personal goals are for your family, and then what are the different threats and opportunities that exist in the context that you're making this plan in. And so we'll just take these one by one because the goals, like I know this is a talk about cash flow optimization, but it's actually very rare, for me at least, to meet landowners that are purely financially motivated. Often people own land for a mix of financial and non-financial reasons, right? You're saying like, oh, well, I mean, all else equal, I would love to improve the cash flow on this property, but like maybe I'm not willing to just totally clear cut everything because actually I do really like taking walks in the woods, you know, and showing my riding around on ATVs with my grandkids through some trails back there and stuff. And I don't, and so some of that, maybe I'm willing to cut some stuff, but like, there's sort of some trade-offs and thresholds that I want to consider there, and making informed trade-offs and understanding what those non-financial preferences are costing you in your land management is a very powerful thing and allows you to make, I think, a pretty clear-eyed decision about how you manage your property and what your plan should be. And whether that's for things like the forest health, or doing the right thing for the land. I hear a lot of landowners express it that way, or like preserving the privacy on your property, or improving wildlife habitat, or getting the next generation engaged on the property recreationally. All of these are things that like maybe they're compatible with cash flow maximization, or maybe there's some trade-offs, right? But like you as the manager of this property should be easy for you to see what those trade-offs are and make a decision that's right for you and your land.